Eala closes a $15 million deal and provides retirement for his parents immediately. Alex Eala just signed a $15 million advertising deal. When Alex Eala didn't say much about the score, she talked about her family. My mother was a SEA Games swimming.
Tears of joy. Alex Eala's secret $1 million gift to her parents revealed amidst shocking ranking drop. Welcome back to Champions Tennisitics, the only channel on the internet where we serve up the hottest scoops, the most dramatic rallies, and the absolute best behind-the-scenes stories from the glamorous, high-stakes world of professional tennis. Grab your snacks, get comfortable, and honestly, go ahead and grab a box of tissues right now, because today's story is a certified, grade A tearjerker. We are diving deep into the life of the Philippines' golden girl, the phenomenal Alex Eala.
Eala closes a $15 million deal and provides retirement for his parents immediately. Alex Eala just signed a $15 million.
You know her for that blistering forehand, that unmatched grit on the court, and that infectious smile that completely lights up the room after even the most grueling three-set battle. But recently, behind that very smile, Alex has been hiding a deeply personal, jaw-dropping secret.
Eala doesn't need a grand slam to make serious money. Before winning a major title, Alex Eala is already a valuable sports brand. Why? Because modern athletes don't earn only...
And let me tell you, it is a secret that is going to leave absolutely everyone completely speechless. While the entire sports world has been laser-focused on her recent struggles and her unexpected drop in the rankings down to world number 45, Alex Eala has been quietly, methodically pulling off one of the most magnificent and heartwarming surprises this sport has ever witnessed. We are talking luxury real estate. We are talking a massive payday. We are talking about a beautifully kept promise that stretches across oceans and years. This is the story of how Alex Eala took her hard-earned prize money and secretly purchased a jaw-dropping, ultra-luxurious ocean view penthouse overlooking the breathtaking waters of Manila Bay for the two people who made her entire journey possible, her beloved parents, Mike and Riza Eala. But before we unlock the doors to this magnificent penthouse, we need to set the stage properly, because the full context of this incredible surprise is exactly what makes it 10 times more emotional. Right now, the professional tennis world is buzzing with the chaotic, unforgiving energy of the European clay court swing. This is the most physically demanding stretch of the entire calendar year. The red dirt takes absolutely no prisoners, and Alex Eala has been grinding herself into the ground with intense preparations for two of the most prestigious clay tournaments on the planet, the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix in Stuttgart and the legendary Mutua Madrid Open. These are the arenas where champions are forged under pressure, where reputations are solidified or shattered, and where weaknesses get brutally, publicly exposed on the grandest possible stage. And lately, let's be completely honest with each other, Alex's resilience has been put to the ultimate test. The tour is absolutely unforgiving. A string of tough draws, agonizing three-set heartbreakers where she was right there on the edge of winning, and the relentless grind of defending ranking points have seen her tumble down to number 45. For a young prodigy carrying the massive hopes and expectations of an entire nation of over 110 million people on her shoulders, a ranking drop like that hits different. The tabloids start whispering. The critics fire up their keyboards. The pressure cooker of professional tennis begins to bubble and threaten to boil over entirely. Many players in her position would crumble, retreat into isolation, or make desperate, panic changes to their entire support team. But not Alex. While the pundits were furiously dissecting her second serve win percentages and picking apart her footwork on the sliding clay courts of Europe, Alex Eala was focused on something infinitely bigger than any ranking number. She was focused on family. She was focused on legacy. Let me paint the full picture of this incredible surprise, because the way she pulled it off is genuinely straight out of a Hollywood screenplay. Picture the scene clearly in your mind. Alex is back home in the Philippines for a brief, incredibly rare window of rest before returning to the European grind. The Manila heat is absolutely sweltering. The traffic is its usual gorgeous, chaotic symphony, and her parents, Mike and Riza Eala, believe they are simply heading out for a nice, quiet family dinner to celebrate having their daughter home safe and sound. Mike, the man who has been the silent and unshakable pillar of this family since the very beginning, is just happy to have his little girl sitting across from him at the table. He has absolutely zero idea what is about to happen to his entire world. Instead of pulling up to a restaurant, their private car glides smoothly and elegantly into the grand, ultra-secure driveway of one of the most exclusive, breathtaking high-rises positioned right along the iconic Manila Bay waterfront. We are talking about the kind of building where billionaires reside, where the security guards wear perfectly tailored suits, where the lobby looks like a five-star Dubai resort lobby designed by someone with an unlimited budget and an obsession with perfection. Mike and Riza are visibly confused. They glance at each other. Then they look at Alex, who simply flashes that trademark mischievous grin she saves for her best moments on the court. She calmly asks them to trust her completely, and then she hands them both blindfolds. Yes, blindfolds. In real life, this actually happened. They step together into a private, high-speed glass elevator that launches them all the way up to the very top floor, the penthouse level. When those sleek doors slide open, the scent of fresh sea breeze and expensive new hardwood floods over them immediately. Alex gently guides her parents out into the massive, open living space, positions them just perfectly in the center of the room, and tells them, quietly, lovingly, to remove the blindfolds. When Mike and Alex Eala open their eyes, the collective gasp that escaped them probably echoed all the way back across the ocean to the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain. Standing before them was a sprawling, multi-million-dollar ultra-luxury penthouse bathed in the warm, liquid gold of the famous Manila Bay sunset. The light was streaming in through massive, custom-designed floor-to-ceiling panoramic glass windows that wrapped around the entire space like a painting that never ends. The details of this property, as described by those lucky enough to have seen it up close, are nothing short of royal. Pristine imported Italian marble floors that reflect light like a mirror. A state-of-the-art chef's kitchen anchored by a massive quartz island that a professional caterer would weep at the sight of. Customized walk-in closets larger than most standard Filipino apartments. And this is where it gets truly cinematic. A sprawling wraparound terrace offering an unobstructed, 360-degree view of the entire Manila skyline, meeting the endless, shimmering ocean horizon. There is even a private infinity plunge pool right there on the balcony, seamlessly dissolving into the view beyond it. It is the kind of place that makes you stand absolutely still and just breathe. But here is the thing, and this is what makes this story transcend real estate entirely. As gorgeous as the marble was, as spectacular as the glass and the sunset view were, that is not what broke Mike Eala. It was not the luxury finishes or the designer fixtures or the infinity pool that brought this strong, stoic, quietly powerful man to his knees emotionally. It was the realization, the slow, overwhelming dawning, of what this physical space truly represented, what it meant. Because this was not just a piece of real estate. This was a monument to sacrifice. This was a love letter made of marble and glass and ocean views. When Mike finally understood what was happening, when Alex walked slowly and deliberately toward him and placed the heavy, gleaming set of front door keys into his hands, he completely broke down. The man who had held himself steady and strong through every agonizing tiebreak she ever played, through every painful injury setback, through every lonely and sleepless airport layover in a foreign country, simply wept. He covered his face with both hands, his shoulders shaking with the pure, uncontrollable weight of the emotion pouring through him. Riza wrapped her arms tightly around him, her own tears flowing freely and fully as she held on. And then came the moment. The single moment that has completely and utterly shattered the hearts of the entire global Filipino tennis community, and frankly, of any human being with a beating heart. Alex walked up to her parents. She wrapped her arms around both of them at once, pulled them in close, leaned her head in between them, and she whispered exactly 15 words into their ears. "Are you ready for this? Put the phone down for a second." She whispered, "You gave up everything for my dreams. Now it is my turn to spoil you." 15 words. "You gave up everything for my dreams. Now it is my turn to spoil you." It was a moment so raw, so exquisitely beautiful, and so profoundly intimate that even the real estate agents and personal assistants standing quietly in the background were openly reaching for tissues. Grown professionals in an industry where they sell luxury properties to celebrities and billionaires every single week, and they were weeping in the corner of an empty penthouse in Manila, undone by 15 words from a 22-year-old tennis player from the Philippines. To truly, completely understand the gravity of those 15 words, we have to rewind the entire tape. We have to go all the way back and look honestly at exactly what Mike and Alex Eala gave up for their daughter's dream, because the full picture of that sacrifice is what gives this moment its enormous, staggering weight. Creating a world-class tennis champion is not simply about spotting talent early and finding a decent local coach. It is a terrifying, all-consuming financial and emotional gamble that most families are never willing or able to take. When Alex was just 13 years old, a child still growing into her tennis shoes, she caught the eye of scouts at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain, one of the most elite, demanding, and internationally respected tennis institutions on the entire planet. This was the golden ticket, the opportunity of a lifetime that comes along once in a generation. But accepting it meant moving halfway across the world. It meant leaving the comfort and warmth and familiarity of their home in the Philippines. It meant diving headfirst into the brutally expensive, emotionally punishing, and wildly uncertain universe of elite junior tennis in Europe. Mike Eala, a man with his own successful professional career and his own ambitions and his own life well underway, made a decision that most men in his position would never even seriously consider. He put everything on hold. His own goals, his own comfort, his own sense of personal trajectory. All of it was quietly, deliberately set to one side. He became the ultimate tennis parent. Not the unhinged, screaming from the stands variety that you hear horror stories about from the locker rooms of junior tournaments. He was the silent warrior. He managed the crushing, relentless logistics of Alex's travel schedule with the precision and dedication of a military general. He absorbed the financial weight of academy fees, international flights, professional racket stringing costs, and entry fees for obscure ITF junior tournaments in tiny European towns most people have never heard of. He lived out of suitcases and budget hotel rooms across the continent for months on end just so Alex could get the match experience she needed. He ate forgettable airport food in departure lounges at 4 in the morning. He sat for thousands of hours on hard metal bleachers under the European sun and the European cold, watching his daughter chase a neon yellow ball across red clay courts with everything she had. He absorbed every single loss. He stored away the stress of her defeats in his own chest, so she would not have to carry it. He was her logistical commander, her financial backbone, her emotional confidant, and her most loyal fan all at once. And on the business side of things, the excitement is ramping up significantly as well. Rumors circulating strongly through the sports marketing world suggest that a landmark multi-million-dollar global sponsorship deal with a major luxury watch brand is currently in the very final stages of negotiation with Alex's management team. If these reports prove accurate, and all indications suggest they will, this agreement would immediately elevate her into the rarefied financial tier occupied by the highest-earning female athletes anywhere on the planet. It would cement her status not just as a rising tennis talent, but as a genuine global brand in her own right. The kind of athlete that a luxury house wants on their wrist and at their events because she represents something authentic and aspirational and powerful all at once. The broader cultural significance of everything Alex Eala represents cannot be overstated, and it deserves to be spoken about clearly and with full appreciation. In the Philippines, a country with an almost religious devotion to basketball, a fierce pride in its boxing champions, and a rich tradition of producing world-class athletes in various disciplines, having a homegrown tennis player operating at the absolute highest level of the WTA Tour is transformative in ways that go far beyond sport. Tennis courts are being built in communities where none existed before. Junior programs are being launched and funded that simply would not have been prioritized a decade ago. Children who had never held a racket in their lives are now watching Alex's matches with their parents and asking to try. She is rewriting what is possible for the next generation of Filipino athletes in a sport that was never traditionally considered theirs to dominate. And when a story like the Penthouse surprise reaches those communities, when a young Filipino girl who grew up to conquer Wimbledon's junior title, who trained in Spain and competed across the entire globe, turns around and buys her parents a home that could make a billionaire's jaw drop, the impact of that story is electric in the deepest possible sense. In Filipino culture, The concept of utang na loob, the profound, sacred sense of debt and gratitude owed to one's parents and elders for their sacrifices, is not merely a social custom. It is a cornerstone of identity, a measure of character, and a source of genuine community pride. When Alex fulfilled that unspoken but deeply felt obligation in the most extravagant and loving way imaginable, she did not simply make her parents cry happy tears in a luxury penthouse. She held up a mirror to an entire culture and showed it the very best of itself. She is not just a tennis player. She is a symbol of what it looks like when grit, gratitude, and grace all arrive at the same destination at the same time. As Roland Garros begins to cast its long shadow over this stretch of the calendar, the weeks in Stuttgart and Madrid will serve as the critical, definitive litmus test for where Alex Eala's career goes from this point forward. The red clay will demand everything: physical endurance that borders on punishment, infinite strategic patience, and a tactical intelligence that must operate perfectly under the kind of pressure that has ended many promising careers prematurely. She will need her sliding to be perfect, her point construction to be creative and varied, and her mental composure to hold firm when her back is against the baseline and the crowd is behind her opponent. But consider the full picture of everything we know about this young woman. At 13, she packed a bag, left everything she knew, and moved to Spain alone to chase a dream that most people her age could not have articulated, let alone pursued. She survived the most demanding junior tennis environment on earth. She won Grand Slam junior titles. She climbed the professional ranks against players who had been training since before she was born. She navigated the blinding spotlight of national expectation with grace and consistency. She built a financial empire, managed it wisely, and used it to honor the people who believed in her before anyone else did. And she did all of this with a smile that somehow, impossibly, never stopped being genuine. So you tell me, does a ranking at number 45 scare this woman? Does a tough first-round draw in Stuttgart cause her a single sleepless night? Does the red clay of Madrid intimidate a girl who practically learned to walk on it? The answer to every single one of those questions is the same. Absolutely not. The rest of the WTA Tour should be paying very close attention right now. Because when Alex Eala steps onto that clay with her parents settled happily in their penthouse, her conscience clear and her heart full, she is not just coming to compete. She is coming to remind everyone exactly who she is and what she is capable of. She has already won the most important match of her life. Everything from here is a bonus. And bonus Alex Eala is a version of this player that the tour has not yet fully seen. What an absolutely extraordinary, inspiring, and deeply human story. If the image of Mike Eala holding those penthouse keys with tears streaming down his face and his daughter's arms wrapped around him did not give you complete, full-body goosebumps, I genuinely do not know what else to tell you. This is what sport is actually about, underneath all the rankings and the prize money and the television contracts. It is about the quiet, enormous sacrifices of parents who believed in something they could not yet see. It is about the children who carry those sacrifices with them across oceans and into arenas and never, ever forget where they came from. Now I want to hear from every single one of you, the greatest tennis community in the entire world. What did those 15 words do to you? Do you believe that this incredible, life-defining off-court moment is exactly the emotional fuel Alex Eala needs to go absolutely nuclear on the clay courts of Stuttgart and Madrid and come roaring back up those rankings? Is a top 10 breakthrough finally on the horizon? Drop every single one of your thoughts, your predictions, your messages of support and love
They can
for
definitely
Alex
expect the
and her
fighting
family
spirit.
right there in the
They
comment
can
section below.
expect me
Let's
giving
make
my
this
best.
the most active
And
comment
I
section
think
Champions
no matter what
Tennisitics
happens
has
this
ever
week, I'm
seen,
still
because a
I
story
think
this
I'll be
big deserves a conversation to match it. If this video moved you, if it inspired you even slightly, absolutely smash that like button right now. It makes a genuine difference to this channel and to how many people get to hear this story. And if you are not yet part of the Champions Tennisitics family, what on earth are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell immediately so you never miss a single exclusive update, breaking story, or deep dive episode. We are bringing you the heat every single week without exception. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Keep swinging for the fences in your own lives, and we will see you in the next one.
Alex Eala closes a $15 million deal and provides retirement for his parents immediately. Alex Eala just signed a 15